question. In the sports segment, the question for today is all sports rigged? I was gonna say, as children, it started as a game, and then eventually it grows to a passion for some people, where they have to do it for money, and that kind of, when I say they have to do it for money, basically they're playing for the potential that they'll make it to the league. Now, I say it's rigged because in Rome, they used to have sports as well, and they called it the Roman circus, and it was a distraction.
I don't care what he does. There is no job worth $2 million a year. That's why they pay athletes these fantastic salaries. I was listening to the radio the other day. They just contracted to pay one player on one team $6 million a year. Can you believe this?
And why is that?
It's the Roman circus. What does the emperor do when the people become restive, and when the people are asking questions, and when the people don't like the policies of the emperor? He sends them to the circus. He creates a circus. He builds a giant coliseum, and he begins to throw the Christians to the lions. And he has great chariot races and football games and basketball games, all to keep the idiots preoccupied with things that don't mean anything in the scheme of the entire world, so that they don't have the time to learn what the truth is, so they don't ever get smart enough to learn how they're being manipulated, so they don't ever question the emperor. That's why they pay a player on a football team or a baseball team $1 million or $2 million or $3 million a year. It is the Roman circus. I know men who don't know anything in the world except who plays third base for the Mets, and they think that's a great accomplishment. And they meet and pat each other on the back and bond and go have cocktails and talk about what this guy that plays third base for the Mets did in last night's game. It's sad. It's really sad.
Is there any room in a kind of society where these manipulations are not taking place for this type of entertainment, or any type of entertainment at all?
If people understand that a game is a game, if people understand that nobody, no matter what they do, is worth paying $2 or $3 million a year for, people should be able to get rich if they want to, by the sweat of their individual labor, okay? By going out and doing something for the world. Not by taking people's minds away from the emperor. It's a game. Football's a game. Football's a game. But let me tell you something. When 150 of the most powerful men and women in the world can meet in secret in Baden-Baden, Germany, and plot the fate of billions, and nobody even cares about it, but 6 football players go to lunch together, and it's in the headlines across the country, you have a reflection of the society in which that exists. And it is a sick society that is doomed.
Now, this is what I want to point out. For instance, if there was a major election for the United States president or the United Nations president, and say Mayweather was about to fight Muhammad Ali in his prime, crazy, just like the biggest fight ever, you know what I'm saying? Would people go see the fight, or would they vote for president? They would go see the fight. Majority of the people. You see? And it's a distraction, even though you have a major issue. It might not be just the voting for somebody, but so now throughout history we've seen the rigging of sports through the Deflategate.
The NFL confirms 11 out of 12 balls were underinflated during Sunday's AFC Championship game between the New England Patriots and the Indianapolis Colts. The Patriots went on to win, but the controversy is just beginning. An underinflated ball is thought to be easier for the quarterback to grip, and especially in inclement weather, as was the case during Sunday's game. According to ESPN, the footballs used were underinflated by 2 pounds per square inch, the standard being 12.5 pounds per square inch. Patriots head coach Bill Belichick says they will fully cooperate with whatever the league requires, and according to the NFL's game operations manual, the minimum fine for tampering with a football is $25,000. Patriots quarterback Tom Brady telling the media, quote, "I think I've heard it all at this point, and it's ridiculous."
They took a major portion of the sport and they changed it. And then again, when you look at
No, so the Deflategate, it's a Deflategate scandal where New England Patriots, a football team, they literally deflated in the Super Bowl, the last game of the season. They deflated all the balls so they would be harder for the opposite quarterback to throw. But the week before, the quarterback of the team of the Patriots, he was like practicing with the balls.
And that's like Vegas bets on it. But it's Tim Donaghy. And he actually admitted to taking championships from a player called Allen Iverson.
You say that certain refs like or dislike certain players, certain coaches, certain general managers,
and certain owners.
You told us, I knew these guys, knew who they liked, who they despised, and who they would help or screw over. For example, Donaghy cited tempestuous superstar Allen Iverson. Some refs liked him, some did not. Natural enough. But Donaghy said several refs would let their feelings influence their calls, by either favoring Iverson or favoring his opponents, and that would affect the score.
And I knew those relationships, whether they were positive or negative, had an effect on the game.
So you knew when Iverson was playing, and you knew which refs were there, you knew whether to bet on the Iverson team or on the other team?
Yes.
Iverson wouldn't talk to us. He didn't want refs to get mad at him. But his manager told us that the way the refs were treating him, some for, some against, made him sick.
I do believe Allen Iverson knew this, and I believe all the players know this, that certain referees treat them much better than others.
Donaghy told us that 2 years ago, Iverson had incurred the wrath of the refs.
He had threatened one of our officials, and the NBA fined him $25,000. And we felt as a group that he should have been suspended. And because he wasn't, we felt like we would teach him a lesson.
During that time, you worked an Iverson game January 6, 2007. So you bet against Iverson's team.
Correct.
Because you knew that all the refs were gunning for him. This was openly discussed.
Openly discussed. And I knew that the other two referees and I sought out to do a little justice of our own.
The refs quickly called curious fouls on Iverson, including rarely called fouls for palming.
And Iverson still upset about that palming call.
They threw his game off, and his team lost. According to the game's announcers, even late in the game, you kept hurting Iverson's team by letting defenders bludgeon him without calling any fouls. Watch.
Tim Donaghy will not call a foul when Iverson goes to basket. About 3 in a row where he got to the basket, got fouled, we thought, no call.
What are we looking at?
We're looking at a foul that was let go. Obviously, in the pregame meetings, we came to the conclusion that we were not going to give Allen Iverson any marginal plays to the basket. And that absolutely should have been called a foul that I and the other referees passed on.
Did anyone in the NBA know about it?
There was a group supervisor at the game that came in at halftime who was laughing and stated that he felt that Iverson had gotten the message.
So the supervisor approved of your punishing Iverson?
Yes.
The NBA would not let that supervisor or any of its refs talk to us. In that game, Donaghy
ended up getting 44 in that game, had 70 in a 5-quarter period of time. So we know he's capable of striking and striking quickly. Marv, he'll go through stretches where he might not score for 9 minutes and then might score 20 points in a quarter because he's going to be relentless, fearless, and he's going to keep coming at you.
One of the 76er heroes from Game 1, Roger Bell, has checked.
Between former NFL referee Richard Ndabu and Jim Rome, where Ndabu admits to rigging games in order to not only drive up ratings and revenue, but also help him and his colleagues win bets.
You didn't just share information and help your buddies. You actually started to bet on the games.
Right.
How did that happen? How come?
Just sitting at lunch with other referees and getting information to where knowing we're going to extend it to somebody that night.
And suggested that Tom Brady was at least generally aware. We get late details from NBC's Peter Alexander.
This video has been blowing up on the web over the last few days, causing NFL fans great anger after the Patriots upset the Jacksonville Jaguars to advance to the Super Bowl for the 10th time. If you look closely, this referee appears to be celebrating the touchdown with the Patriots when he should have been officiating the game. This video has fans crying foul and forced the league to finally acknowledge that the NFL games are sometimes fixed in order to drive revenue and ratings. Watch that again. The same referee congratulating Tom Brady after the upset. Not only did the video cause NFL fans to hemorrhage from their brains, it also caused uproar with the players. Denver Broncos star TJ Ward simply tweeted, "Rigged, shaking my head." The next morning, Jaguars cornerback Jalen Ramsey confirms everyone's suspicions when he admits, "Coach told us in the middle of the fourth to give the game to New England. We didn't want to, but commissioner said it's best for the league." Ramsey quickly deleted the tweet, but it seems it was already too late. Reports out of New York indicate that Roger
They're either letting it slide in, or they're moving it up or over a slight decimal where it's affecting the shot. Because if it did move a slight decimal and the person is expecting it to be at one spot, it's going to draw their shot off. And this will cause. Finally, I would just say that, and I think this is the reason that we have people who are they scored 30 points in high school, and then in the NBA, they're given a shot, but they can't make anything. Because they know exactly when they're going to shoot. So when they down the court, they say this game only give them 12 points. And so you have people like, Kay Fielder, 30 points college. NBA, he can't even average 10. And you got guy from CMU, Marcus King, he averaged 30 a game in college. And then you got other people from college who only average 12, 8, 12. And now they're doing so much better in the NBA, and he didn't even make it to the NBA. That doesn't even make sense. Even with Kay Fielder, it doesn't make sense. How are these people becoming better facing NBA opponents than the people who are playing college opponents and doing better than them? It doesn't add up.
So first of all, you had touched on why NBA players, or why some players are good in high school and then when they go to the NBA they suck. That's because the level of competition in high school versus the NBA is extremely, extremely better. Like they don't the people in high school, they don't start off playing LeBron James. They start off playing, think about LeBron James when he was in high school. Like, he was built the way he is now. Well, not really, but he was bigger than most high school players, which is why he averaged 40 a game. But the reason why he didn't fall off in the NBA is because, we'll take Markelle Fultz for example. He got drafted first this year by the Philadelphia 76ers. He hasn't played a game this season because he got injured in his hand, and the Philadelphia 76ers won't let him play because he can't shoot outside of like the paint. He can't even shoot 3-pointers. He can't shoot outside the paint. For me, it's hard to believe that there's a mechanism that the NBA has built, just because if you look at the rims, bro, the rims are like or if you look at just the whole structure of the rim and how the court is, there's no NBA official behind it trying to like poke a machine or something, or move. You can't move a rim.
Right.
You can't change how a rim, whether it moves to the left or moves to the right or gets smaller, or gets larger. That's just not. Right. It's not possible with how they make the basketball.
Right. And definitely, I can see where you're coming from, but do you see? Say you don't believe it, right? And what we're talking about, even for the people who just came in, We have Khalil who just joined us. Welcome. And what we're talking about is the NBA adjusting rims. And I say that this is what the argument is. He says that he don't believe that it would be possible, but what I am saying
He's saying
is
that there's a mechanical device on the rim that's like adjusting.
see, look. I'll show you. Hold this for 1 second. Just like there's a mechanical device on the rim. This is a regular rim. What I respond to what Ike said is that the ref doesn't have to actually move the rim. It can even be the owners. It can be somebody else. And so they move the rim, you know. It's kind of deep, right? But it's like, but you see, okay, even say they didn't do it. Do you see how effective it could be for the NBA if they were doing it?
Yeah, I can definitely. I mean, it would definitely work in the NBA's favor. But other than the NBA losing games to try and get a better player or to get a better draft stock, I personally can't see that theory working. I can see them. I can easily see the NBA being rigged somehow and them trying to cheat somehow. But as far as like a mechanism, there's a lot of things that have to go into that. Like first, you just said the owners might hold it, right? Okay, so that would have to be what, at home games? Both owners are holding.
All working together. You know what I'm saying? They all know.
To do what? To keep the games close.
I am alleging that they are all working together, so it can be any particular order. I believe that James Harden has a particular time that he shoots the ball each game and he knows it's gonna fall. Steph Curry has a particular time he shoots, he knows it's gonna fall. LeBron, etc. They all know when to shoot and when not to shoot. They have the codes, they have the timing. But the players who are not on the end do not know. They do not have the codes, they do not have the timing. So the league decides when their shots fall. But the players on the end know when to shoot and when not to shoot because they were told. Because just like Tim Donaghy says he has players involved and owners, if he has players and owners involved, then that means they have to know how to work the rims. They have to. It's proven. And I just say allegedly for legal reasons. Also because I haven't specifically proven these players to have done this. It's just certain players are in this category. Well, they what? The best game to play is when you know the outcome on either end. You know what I'm saying? And so it doesn't matter who has the remote. It's whoever. If we decide who wins tonight, you know, we both won because we got a pot to share.
I get where you're coming from, and it definitely makes sense. And I like the idea. But if anybody else wants to chime in, I just personally can't see a mechanism being built around the rim. And maybe that's just because I don't want to, because I love basketball. But I don't know. I just can't see that.
And I want to let you two chime in on that as well. But I just wanted to add one more thing: is that basically what we're seeing in sports is a lot of the same things happening. LeBron going to the championship every time. The Warriors going to the championship every time. Football. New England Patriots going to the championship every time. Now, like I just stated earlier, Tim Donaghy, he said that he was doing a betting scandal that involved the owners and players. So if you have the trifecta, and then that will add to my other argument is that they have at least a couple agents that the owners put on the team also. It would be no way for the game to be decided any other way if you knew how to adjust the rim and you had the owners, players, and the rep?
Yeah, I would say it's pretty sad, in all honesty, if people care enough. The public reacts so much from a team winning or losing that an owner finds it beneficial to rig the game.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that the owner is definitely going to find it beneficial because he's going to sell more tickets because he can play on what's occurring, you know, the storyline.
But the thing is that really where the money comes from at this point is not even winning the games, it's selling the celebrity.
That's what I'm about to say, the storyline.
Selling the celebrity.
So it's like if, say, remember when Isaiah Thomas' mother died?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you want to get him to hit more points. Or you hear when Kobe, 60 points, and the whole season he didn't hit over 40.
Right.
So what's to say that it didn't occur in that game?
Right.
Because that's a good storyline.
I would say that the media knows how to paint things and market things to make them work in their favor in order to keep the numbers up.
So yes, you can go ahead and introduce yourself, and then if you'd like to talk.
I'm Jasmine's assistant for Purview TV.
Oh, the question that I would just ask you, have you ever played a sport? Okay. And
Yeah.
okay.
I used to play basketball back in 2010.
There were a lot of people around you who were excited about being athletes. Would you say that's true or false? Okay. And so if a lot of the people around you are excited about being athletes, but the sport that they're playing, they only allow, like, they're really good in high school and college, but they only allow the people who want to, bow down to what they want them to do to be prosperous. Do you see how it would be a false dream? Because, say potentially what I said with the rims is true. Do you see that if a child is still wanting to be a basketball player, you see how that will affect them if they're only letting people make shots that they want to make shots?
Yeah, right.
Just talk about if this was actually true, how would that affect, what would the effect be if that was true?
I'll give a rough. I feel that they would let that person who's like famous get the most shots,
Right.
based off his theory.
The person who has the celebrity, a nice image.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Right.
At least they will, most of them will fall.
Yeah.
Most of them will fall. Concerning that, I was going to ask Jasmine, now, did you play sports in high school or college?
I run cross country.
Okay. Now, did you have friends who played basketball or football?
Yeah, definitely.
Because those are the two major sports that our people or men play, would you say?
Yeah.
And so we already see that, football is dominated by the Patriots, adjusting the footballs, and then basketball is dominated by LeBron, and then Curry.
Curry, yeah.
So if this was actually true and they were able to decide when shots were falling, what effect would that be, like, on the community? Would people stop playing basketball?
Well, I don't think people ever gonna give up on the hoop dreams. I think people just learn how to cheat the system. Just like we got our scammers, our everyday scammers. Somebody gonna learn how to cheat the system. Just like, Curry, he played different than LeBron or like Michael Jordan would play. Like, they play more like strategic.
Right.
So people gonna figure out a way.
So, like, the only thing with that is, like, you can't really cheat the cheater because, like, for instance, if, say, that they're making the rims, thinner. Because have you ever shot a shot at the carnival? They have the oval rims, right? So I'm not saying that they're making the rims oval. I'm saying they're, like, adjusting them in slightly. But on the inside, when the camera's on the other end, you see, so it's like, how do you overcome that? Like you were saying, how would you So it's like you would never know. You would never know. It's actually, you would say it couldn't even just be someone in the league and the teams didn't even know. It could just be someone in the league because they own the rims. It's like we wouldn't know.
It's too much money, like.
But they would make more money if they knew. I can see the effect that it would have, because if say you're a fashion stylist, and every time you can determine when somebody's gonna buy your clothes, just like if I'm a basketball owner, I can decide every time when somebody's gonna watch. They're only gonna watch when LeBron's shots are falling. They're only gonna watch when Curry's shots are falling, and they say they don't like Durant, so his shots not falling today. So if you any last thoughts on that, and or if you had a couple more.
Well, I feel like if the cheating is happening, it's more of a popularity game. You know, it's all about who gonna watch, how many people gonna watch. So I feel like if I'm an owner of a team and cheating going on, I'm a part of that cheating. What you mean? I paid $1 billion, a couple $1 million for this team. I'm cheating with them, you know? Mm-hmm. So I feel like if this is happening, it's definitely some team owners combined working together. Like the hottest teams. Yeah, like the hottest teams in whatever sport, they working together. Like if we're going to cheat as a team. If we're going to make this money, that's how we're going to do it, right?
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and it could be collaborative because, like I said, with Tim Donaghy, that was together, and that's an old ref. He collaborated with the players on the team and the refs. That's a deadly combination. Yeah, so even to take it to the next level, you know, like, because nobody's really ever thought about this, you know what I'm saying? I haven't ever heard them saying that it could be Donaghy that was together, and that's an old ref. He collaborated with the players on the team and the refs. That's a deadly combination. Yeah, so even to take it to the next level, you know, like, because nobody's really ever thought about this, you know what I'm saying? I haven't ever heard them saying that it could be put together. We actually had a caller. Hello, caller, you're live on Only Facts.
Truth is painful, it's powerful, but it's painful too. You know, like the theory you were talking about, the basketball players and what they do, it's all about money. So yeah, as open as it seems, sports seems, they could do whatever they want to do, and it's all about money, and they're greedy, you know? So, yeah, they would do anything, you know, because the masses just thrive on entertainment, you know? So they want to give that person what they want, whatever it takes. We just want these customers
to watch and be distracted.
Yeah, so it makes sense. When you first started talking, I was like, oh, Elijah, you hitting it. You know, I ain't feeling what you're saying. But as you kept talking, it makes sense, you know, because everything is a gadget to them. You know, it's just like they playing Monopoly, you know, because right now they're experiencing what they think freedom is at other people's expense. But that's not freedom either.
Absolutely.
So,
and I wanted to a couple people if they want to respond to that, and then I'm going to answer the question myself. Are we the new slaves? You can I'll put you on mute, and then you could chime back in if you like. Anybody have a question for the caller or a response to that?
When you were listening, do you think his theory about the basketball rim, like the rim, do you think that it's true or false?
You know, because I personally, I do a lot of research, and it's like, I think it's going to come to light. Everything in darkness that people do, it comes to light eventually, and a lot of people will, you know, they have to keep this hidden because this is like secret society. This is top-notch secret. You know, so, but it makes sense to me. It really does. You know, it's like, why is it that this same team is winning? This same person is always making the baskets. And as far as the referee does not have to touch the basket with technology now, they control the weather. They do. I was looking at the snowflakes today, and I thought, if these snowflakes ain't man-made.
You see how big they were?
That was huge.
Well, one question I did have, and tell me what you think. Would you agree? And I have no bias towards this. This is just my curious mind going. I don't have any theory or anything, right? But would you say that we would all be on one accord with white people owning these teams, right?
Yeah, basically.
white people own these teams. And why is it, if they do control the rims, why aren't white players more successful than black players?
That's a good question.
The pipe dream. Maybe it's the pipe dream.
Wouldn't they open the rim?
They've always used us in the field of entertainment. That's always been a thing, dancing and singing, and it makes it more entertaining. And also, you would agree that a white boy can't shoot necessarily like a black boy. Even if he could put it in the basket, he can't dance around and make the moves that we can make. It's not as entertaining. And
I think you definitely gave me some clarity on that, because I didn't think about someone dribbling to that 3-point line. Because you got to dribble to that 3-point line, and that's the flyness. That's when it's all good.
It's not just basketball, it's entertainment.
Right.
They're entertaining us.
Right. Exactly.
I actually was at a basketball game yesterday, the Pistons basketball game, and honestly, I thought overall it was kind of boring because they weren't really. I thought it was boring. I mean, it's just because they're not winning. So whenever you're not winning, it's kind of boring. It's exciting when you're winning, but they did win, but it was still a boring game.
True.
But the powers that be, those that have control of the money, and they control the weather to an extent, like, the Bible says they'll do things to change the times and the seasons, and they've done that. So changing the rim, that's nothing.
I understand.
That's nothing with the technology that's out. They could do, that's possible. I think it's very possible.
And so this is a good time for us to take a break and hear a message from one of our supporters. Now, before I came up with this theory, I was one of the biggest Kobe Bryant fans. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to play one of Kobe Bryant's songs in light of this being a sports topic. And I hope you still enjoy, even though your mind may be blown to Hiroshima concerning the idea that sports are definitely rigged. And so this was created by God's son Elijah, who is myself. And you can find him online at Covenant One Creations. And you can get a copy of that CD for free. Just contact him and he will get that to you. And so, enjoy.
Kobe, 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 Kobe. Black Mamba. Switch, switch, switch. 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Go! 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Kobe, 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 Kobe. K for the king, getting rings with my team. Running screens, Kobe Bean. Hey. Oh, it's for official prime time. Throwing dimes. If I don't shine, my team dies. So I'll be trying to cross the line. Hit them shots in no time. Come up clutch and showtime. Untouchable. And they ain't even trying. Ayy. B is for the best. I play my role. I'm too blessed. Happiness, no stress. Make the pictures guess. No anaconda. I'ma have breed back mama blood in my jeans. E because I'm too elite. KBB. 10 toes on 2 feet. It ain't nothing sweet. When your kids pull up for a shot, they call on me. When you pull up for a shot, you call on me. It's a reason why they call Kobe. In the season, I'm pulling up from the nosebleed. 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Kobe. 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Kobe. Swish, splash, getting past defenders fast. No limit when you're the greatest the world has ever had. My work ethic is above epic, but they tried to make me the topic for the wrong reasons. I said I'm the top pick for these long seasons. Never gave up, just kept breathing. No steam seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Kobe! 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Go! I walk by faith and not by sight. I shoot at will. I don't need no lights. I fly like kites. When I dunk, I'm out of sight. You might need a bite to catch me on some nights. When I fight, my team fight. You all bark, I'm all bite. If I'm going for the game, that's good night. I look left and shake right, drive by. Lay up like I'm being nice. In my veins is all ice. I stick on D like white on rice. They be like Kobe, give us some advice. I said if you wanna be good, then you gotta pay the price. That's right, you gotta pay the price. Cause it's 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Go! 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on the top. Crossover, leave you drop. Kobe! 24 seconds on the clock. Watch me dribble the rock and pull up the shot. Don't let me get hot, cause my flame, it don't stop. Only happy on